Hey, what is up, everyone? It is Agram, and before we get into the content today, I want to give a huge thanks to everybody. Today, we rose from 0 subscribers to 5. I can't thank you guys enough. Honestly, this means the world to me. I've dreamed since I was a child to get 5 subscribers, and I finally got it. So, we're gonna be doing a giveaway today, and I'm gonna be giving away my life. I'm gonna be giving away my life to one lucky subscriber. If this video gets 1 like, I'll kill myself and then send you my ashes. So yeah, big shout out to all you lovely subscribers, and let's get into that pro revenge content. There's some good stories here today, and I'd love to share it with you guys. All right, PP Gang Nation, let's go. By the way, I'm calling you guys PP Gang Nation now because, like, I feel like we need, like, a name, like, a tag for our channel because, like, you know, we're getting big and we need to do it before, like, you know, stuff starts happening. So, yeah, let's do it. All right, let's get right into the video. Bam! Ow! Cut to content! Hippity hoppity. Yeah, you damaged my property. Bippity boppity. I'm calling the company. Yeah, bippity boppity boo. They're taking all of your children, too. Sorry, I had to fix it. I apologize in advance for the length. TLDR at the end. This happened shortly after college. My mom is a retired, disabled woman who now owns her house on a quiet residential cul-de-sac. She's lived there longer than anyone else. Her neighborhood has designed parking spaces at the end of the cul-de-sac, all with the addresses of each house painted in the parking space. My mom doesn't get out much, so I use her designated parking space. At the time, we lived in the same city, and I visited her weekly to bring groceries, fix broken things, cook for her, etc. My mom parked her car in the backyard of her house, since she went in and out so little. Mom kept busy by gardening or baking and buying cookies for the children on the street. Mom's neighbor, Ivy, never parked well. Whenever I stopped by, her car was always parked so close to my car that I had to park on the curb. I wouldn't have cared about Ivy's piss-poor parking, but for 2 things. 1, she had 4 or 5 kids and had parties almost every weekend, leaving trash in my mom's yard. 2, I loved my car, a 2016 metallic ice blue Dodge Challenger Hellcat, the first car I had ever purchased brand new. I washed that car once a week, detailed the interior, and had rules against eating, drinking, or even leaving trash in my car. It was my pride and joy. Mom had called the police throughout Ivy's residence because of the parties. Ivy's guests would fill up the cul-de-sac with their cars obstructing traffic and get into loud, drunk fights at and after midnight. I often found empty beer bottles, empty condom wrappers, cigarette butts, and empty crack baggies on the fences between the properties, mostly on Ivy's side of the fence. This is all important information. One Saturday, while having dinner at my mom's house, I heard a loud crash and my car alarm went off. I ran outside to see Ivy's older model Honda Accord back out of her parking space and speed down the street. Ivy's Accord had a dent from the front bumper to the door and the headlight had popped out. I approached my Challenger with trepidation and screamed in anguish at what I saw. My car, my beautiful 3-week-old car with less than 500 miles on it had a dent stretching from the passenger's door to the front bumper, and the right front wheel was tilted at a 30-degree angle. Oh man, that's not good. I was livid and in anguish as I called the police, filed an online claim with my insurance, and arranged for a tow truck to take my damaged car to the dealership. The estimated cost of repairs came out to $3,400 US. Total cost of repairs was eventually $6,500 US. I had a low insurance deductible, $100 US, but my car was parked and Ivy owed for the damages. For 2 weeks, I knocked on Ivy's door or waited for her to come home. She stopped driving her damaged Accord and either rented or borrowed a Ford Fusion. When she was home, she didn't answer the door. When she wasn't, she stayed away until my rental car, a Dodge Charger, left Mom's parking space. I left a note on Ivy's door for her to call me, but only received harassing calls from restricted phone numbers or blaring air horns in my ear when I answered. Oh my god, like, not only is this woman not answering any of her calls or not even answering her damn door, but she's blowing air horns in her ear. Like, what the hell? You did this. The revenge. About 2 weeks after the accident, Ivy's children came to Mom's house for some cookies. I noticed that 2 of them had bruises around their eyes. Oh my god. If Ivy hadn't hit my car, I still would have done what I did, but maybe not as underhandedly. I had mom take pictures with and of the children, but waited until the next party to strike. Ivy had a party that night or the night after. Mom called me to let me know, and I installed an app onto my phone that gave me a fake phone number. I called 911 and reported the party. There's a loud party at 1007 Mountain Drive, and I'm worried because the children are all around these drunk adults. Please hurry. Mom called me to let me know the police had arrived. I drove to her house, stopping by the grocery store first so that it appeared to be a reason, and saw Ivy and her boyfriend, Bane. Are you kidding me? Bane? Like, these two people sound like supervillains. In fact, they are supervillains. Oh, actually, no, I just realized. These are Batman supervillains. This person is just giving these people, like, fake names. But still, okay, that's funny. From a news broadcast that night, I found out that Bane had warrants out for his arrest. Oh my god. These people. God. Initially, the charges were disorderly conduct and disturbing the peace. However, Mom turned over the photos of the children, anonymously mailing them to the post office with Ivy's address and name as the return address. Less than a week later, Ivy and Bane were charged with child abuse charges. I think Bane was charged with more severe charges as well for abusing Ivy's daughter. Either way, the children ended up in foster care and Ivy and Bane ended up in prison. Good, and that is where they belong. I just don't know what goes wrong in these people's lives to like make them act like this. It really sometimes does not make sense to me. These people were more than deserving of the punishment that they got. Like, how are you gonna invade a grandma's personal space? Not only just a normal grandma, but a grandma who buys cookies for the children on the street. Like, come on, you literally just decided to mess with the nicest grandma of all time. And you know, the nicer the grandmas are, the harder you frickin' fall. Sorry, criminals, but that's your weakness, bro. That's your kryptonite. No, but props to these two. They did their research, they got their evidence, they did what they needed to do, they did a hamburger format for their essay that they sent to the police, and then these people went to jail. Like, honestly though, that grandma was pretty sneaky sending in those notes anonymously. Like, I see you, grandma, I see you. Alright, what the frick do we got next? Guy speeds out of his driveway every day without looking. I think I may have effed him up mentally forever. Small piece of background info. As a kid, I was always playing rough and at some point even thought about becoming a stuntman. Actually, that still sounds like an awesome career. Okay, side note, it actually is, and you get bank, except, you know, you're doing stunts. But like, if you're down to be put in dangerous situations, look it up right now and get into it, because people need stunt guys for TV shows and movies and everything. Like, you need them. So me and my friends did the whole fake fighting thing, and I learned how to easily take hits and pretty nasty falls without getting hurt badly. I was one of those kids that always had cuts and bruises and no idea how I got them. Same here, dude. Nor did I care. I also have always had the superpower to cause myself a bloody nose just by picking a very specific spot. This may not sound like a superpower, but if you didn't study for a test, it was a God's gift to be able to just walk out of the classroom with a bloody nose, knowing you could retake it another time. This guy is a genius. I am already hooked. This guy is the smartest man I've ever seen write anything. Alright, this story happened a couple of years ago, and it may be the worst thing I ever did. I was 17 years old, and being a Dutch. Yeah, you know when you're like, just, you know, cruising around with your boys, riding your bike, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna be Dutch right now. That's me, dude, that was me every day. Anyways, I rode my bike everywhere. I lived pretty close to my grandparents and would bike past their house on a daily basis. Their house was at the corner of a Y-shaped intersection, and there was this guy who lived on the same intersection, who was the worst driver I ever met. He would just not look when driving out of his garage and just speed into the road. He had nearly hit me twice already, and every time he just cursed at me to get out of his way. Alright, we got an A-class citizen here, boys. Now, you have to believe me when I say this, but I am not a vengeful person. But something about this just annoyed me so much. My grandma also loves to ride her bike around town to do the groceries, and I knew I had to do something before my grandma would get hit. I asked my grandma about the man, and she told me what I already knew. The guy was an asshole, and everyone did everything wrong except for him. I told my grandma what I was planning and if she would help me. She wholeheartedly agreed, and together we made a plan to teach him a lesson he would never forget. I decided to hang out around the guy's house for a couple of weeks to take note of when he left for work every day and how fast he was going. I worked everything out to the smallest detail, no room for errors on this one. I started practicing my falls again and looked up some tutorials to prepare myself for the performance of a lifetime. One sunny Monday morning, I get up and start stretching and warming up my muscles. Today is the day. I grab my bike and drive it just around the corner of the guy's garage. I mentally prepare myself and start my bloody nose with ease. Oh, this guy! Making sure to get nice and bloody in the process. Then I hear it. The garage door opens. I now have 3.7 seconds before he would be racing out of his garage. Like I said, every detail, no room for error. I start driving my bike as fast as I could and get ready for the impact. And let me tell you, it went beautifully. I was no longer sitting on my seatbelt and had my left hand already on my handlebar to help with the impact of the car. I rolled over the hood and windshield of his car and landed in a nice rolling motion as I thought myself all those years ago. I ended up hitting the ground on the passenger side of the car. All in all, the whole accident took less than a second, but I still remember it as if it happened in slow motion. The guy was freaking out as he thought he just killed a guy, and if you were just looking at the amount of blood on his car, it wasn't that much, but on a white car, every drop stands out. You would agree. As I laid there next to his car, he came screaming out, asking if I was okay. Of course, I pretended I wasn't, and took my sweet ass time trying to get up. It was at this point that my grandma came running out of her house, right on cue, screaming, "My baby, you hit my grandson." I could totally just imagine this grandma like trotting out in her like little like slip-on slippers, like a bathrobe, like, you know, glasses off, trying to figure out where the hell she's going. The guy didn't know what to do. He was so full of shock that I thought he may pass out. I'll give him credit. He kept his cool and knew he was in the wrong. He called me an ambulance and stayed by my side. When they arrived, they checked me out. I was fine, a couple bruises and a small scratch on my knee from hitting the pavement. They bandaged me up and left. My grandma brought me to her car and brought me home. A couple days later, I ride my bike past the guy's house and notice a piece of paper on one of the car's windows. For sale, call 06 ***. I asked my grandma what happened, and word on the street is that the accident left him traumatized, and now he refuses to drive anymore, taking public transit everywhere and selling his car. Oh my god. My grandma is happy that she can ride her bike without having to worry, and I am happy that I don't have to worry for her life. We talked about it afterwards, and both of us agree that although what we did was a horrible thing to do to someone, it had to be done before someone would actually get hurt, and we don't feel any remorse about it. I mean, your revenge definitely worked. You know, maybe it's just me, but this whole time I was thinking, like, maybe they already did it, but why don't they just ask the guy to, like, drive safer, you know? But if there was any form of revenge to take in this situation, this is by far the best. Like, I know he was totally, like, mentally scarred, but, I mean, like they said, the way he was driving, someone was going to get hit, and I've known people that have driven like that. Someone is going to get hit, or they are going to get in a crash. And it doesn't matter how many times you tell them, they're going to keep doing the things that they're doing, and someone's going to get hurt. So, in reality, what they did had, like, the best effect it could have. It's not necessarily a bad thing for him to be taking public transit. So, hey, a win's a win, right? Alright, that's going to be it for today on these pro-revenge stories. Comment down below if you guys like them. I'm laughing to myself thinking about that because I'm not going to get any comments. Actually, no, I will. That's right. My channel is blowing up. What am I talking about? PP Gang Nation is on the rise. Also, side note before I leave you guys, but I realized, I don't know if you guys realized this too, but both of these stories had grandmas in them, and they were like a central piece of them. So, I don't know, maybe I have some weird obsession with grandmas. I mean, if you think about it, A-gram is just short for ass grandma. Am I right or am I right? Alright, well, I'm gonna leave you guys to think with that. PB Gang Nation, I will see you next week. Wait, not next week, tomorrow. Tomorrow, because I post daily. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you gotta do to support me. PB Gang Nation, see you later. A-gram is out. Peace, baby.